Now, do you think there are enough people in, let's say, our Ukrainian community here who loves your work? Are we doing enough in terms of following through on the solutions that you're suggesting as a community or individuals here in Canada?
No, I don't think we are doing enough. I think we're stuck in the past. And I really get tired of being stuck in history. History is history, and it's down there. We have a situation right now that in 50 years or 100 years from now, we're going to be saying this was a black time, a real dark time in Ukrainian history. We have orphanages filled with children who need our help, who need our love, who need hugs, who need their spirits and their souls nurtured. And what do? We have a community here that is really significant. It is rich in heritage, it's rich in money, it's rich in so many things. And it's just not going out there and helping these kids. These kids are so vulnerable. And it almost goes right back to me when I was in the institutions, when no one came to help me, my brothers, or the other kids. It's the same thing in Ukraine. These kids sit in these orphanages, and sure, some people come sometimes with stuffed animals and they'll buy a few things. And I've gone to the orphanages and I've bought all kinds of things, and I built a library in one, and I just want to try to do something. But that is such an important thing. You're looking at the future of Ukraine sitting in these internats rotting. For what? You can save those souls. Go out there and do it. It's very simple. But what happens? These girls turn 16 and 17 and they get turned out into the street, and they get picked up by traffickers, and all we can say is prostitute, whore? No, victim. And they are victims because we did nothing to stop it. Now, there are organizations in Canada that do great works. You have Help Us Help the Children, and you have the Anti-Trafficking Initiative. You have NASHI in Saskatoon. These people are going out and doing something and touching the soul of a child and hugging that child and making that child feel wanted. But you know what? You don't just do it for a month. You don't just do it for 6 months. This is an ongoing project because a soul keeps on going. And we've got to continue, focusing on that. That's the most important issue to me in the Ukrainian community. If you really want to do something, really focus on those institutions and try to help out.
What about the laws here in Canada? Do you think over the time period that you've written your books, that anything in Canada has changed in terms of the way police look at the issue, and maybe even laws changing?
Oh yeah. Police are now looking at the issue of trafficking and the issue of prostitution like never before. They were always targeting the women. When I came out with the Johns, I go now and I talk at police, to police forces right across the country. I talk to the RCMP in their training headquarters in Regina on several occasions, and get the guys to listen, because the women know. But when you're hitting the guys, they get so uncomfortable because, like me, when I first started to look at this issue, I never gave prostitution even a moment's thought. All I thought about was, well, it's the cliche, women making money the easy way, they don't really want to work. When in reality, the tens of millions of young women who are out there around the world being prostituted, that 96% of them never wanted this in their life, don't want this in their life, and they have no avenue of escape. And we're not offering it to them. So we have now police forces and we have courts and judges looking at this different. And they're starting to twist the attention to the right place, which is the Johns. They're responsible. And this goes to Sweden, because Sweden was the first country to say, wait a second, these women are victims, and you can't have true equality between women and men unless you stop men from thinking that they have the right, because they have money in their pocket, to rent a woman's body. They don't have that right. And most men never ask the woman, why are you here? How did you get here? And that is because they know the answer will certainly deflate their ego.
Now, the Ukrainian Canadian Social Services are recognizing your work and actually wanting to push forward your agenda. Have you been working with them at all, or how do you feel about this kind of awarding, and how does it, pursue or further the cause?
I've always been a bit of a lone wolf. well, actually, a hell of a lone wolf. And I like being a lone wolf. I like being the guy who goes out there and breaks down the walls, breaks down the barriers, demands answers to questions. I mean, I've been doing this ever since I've been a journalist, and that's 40 years now. You know, with the Globe and Mail, with the Fifth Estate at CBC, and now with W5. I like to challenge. But then, you know, I don't want to have to go to organizations and say, you got to do this. I would think that they would look at this and say, you know what? This is really important. It's important that we do something for our girls and our children. And the organizations who are out there working, like the social services, and trying to do things to help people better themselves as they come from Ukraine to Canada or over there. These are important works. I'm recognized and have been recognized a lot for many of the things I've done, and it's always an honor. You know, I go, oh, you know, but I always feel kind of odd about it because I don't think about awards. I think there's a lot of other people who are on the ground, you know, doing what I call the grunt work, you know, going into the institutions, going into the brothels and kicking down doors and things like that. But, you know, for me, it's just an honor. I just think, wow, it's nice, but at least people will, I feel that people are listening to the alarm bells that I trigger.
Вечір вшанування Віктора Малярика відбудеться 20 березня в елегантному ресторані Old Mill в Торонті. Весь дохід вечора призначений на встановлення телефонічної лінії помочі для українських жертв міжнародної торгівлі жінками. Заохочуємо всіх вас численно прибути на цей вечір і далі підтримувати цю важливу акцію.